Next up, we have a special presentation from L&T Construction, Buildings and Factories. We have Mr. Nithyanand and Deputy General Manager, Business Development for Health. A round of applause for our Mr. Nithyanand.
The future is closer than we think. Using digital technologies, we are implementing futuristic solutions to make quantum improvements across all our businesses, resulting in smart engineering, smart manufacturing, smart project management, smart infrastructure. Our proven global expertise in infotech, as well as technology services, enables us to solve complex business problems at the convergence of the physical and digital worlds, both internally and for major clients across the globe, including a large number of Fortune 500 companies. Disruptive technologies like the Internet of Things are changing the way we live and work. We are leveraging our rich engineering heritage with these new technologies to offer businesses worldwide services that enhance efficiency and productivity. By exploiting analytics for innovation, we are transforming the way these industries operate. Cities are the beating heart of the world's economy. Their speed and scale of expansion presents a choice. Mega-city turmoil or an inviting urban environment. A smart city. A smart city involves the application of information-based systems for better governance and services. With expertise in both infrastructure and new age technologies, L&T has the edge in implementing India's mission to make 100 cities resident-friendly and sustainable. Every day we help light up hundreds of villages and power businesses and industry. We provide a complete range of solutions for power plants, from concept to commissioning. Our heavy engineering facilities are among the largest and best equipped in the world. They fabricate complex large-size equipment for core industries and provide critical equipment for India's nuclear power plants. We are the only company with the capacity to build an entire nuclear power plant on its own. Nuclear fusion has the potential to replace every other source of energy. Larsen & Toubro is collaborating on a global project to build the world's first thermonuclear reactor in southern France, a potential step towards an abundance of energy that could power the planet for millions of years. Till such time alternative energy sources reach full maturity, hydrocarbons remain the principal source of the world's energy supply. Our presence spans the entire hydrocarbon value chain, from exploration to refining to erecting complete plants. Through products derived from hydrocarbons, we touch your life every day. In a myriad other ways, we are a recurring presence in your life, day after day. Moving you through airports built by us, over bridges, roads and intersections that we have constructed, through state-of-the-art metros that we have built. And as you arrive at your destination, an array of properties await you, built by us to the highest standards. Whether it is the tallest, longest, largest, we at L&T have built it. We apply technology to man's most precious resource, water. Our ability to build a world-class water infrastructure covers all aspects of treatment and conservation, including desalination. Strength is a prerequisite for peace. It has been a mission with us to secure your way of life by helping strengthen the country's defenses. Through intensive investment on research, we developed a system of systems capability, enabling us to build complete weapons platforms, including India's first nuclear submarine, a long-held dream. The Indian Navy looks to us for an entire range of weapon systems, and the land forces for diverse advanced weaponry. Given the trust built over decades of proven performance, we are well positioned to be the leaders in India's defense expansion. We have played our part in India's mission to the moon and its thrust to orbit Mars. For decades, we have made critical aerospace components for the country's space program. Through our technology leadership, we now have the capability to build complete launch systems to place satellites into orbit, opening up limitless possibilities for the future. Technology is pushing from every direction. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the resolute. It belongs to those who strive, who seek, and do not yield. The future belongs to the brave.
Well, I'm Nithyanand. I'm an architect basically. So, right, like all of you, I've joined this company. Every time I see this video, it gives me immense pride to stand in front of the crowd. So, I take care of health business across pan-India. So, this is one of the presentation which I'm going to take you through how we are implementing projects in healthcare. So, this is the core topic. The video which I shown is a corporate video, which covers the whole gamut of industrial engineering services which we take in our company. So the road traveled, so if we take up the construction field as such, the road traveled is like this. From the 1990s, we all have heard projects are being taken only on item rate basis. There is no one called design and build contractor. So someone designs the building or the infrastructure, we start executing it. That is a mode of contract what we had in the 90s. And then there came a difference. We made the difference. We pushed projects which can be built on design and build basis. Basically, our engineering team, whole architects and engineers, there's a team called Engineering Design Research Center, which comprises of all designers, basically. They sit in our Engineering Design Center at Chennai office. So the entire design for all the projects which we undertake is from that particular office. Around 800 people are sitting there, and in healthcare alone we have around 200 people who dedicatedly work for all our healthcare projects, pan-India. So there we started the design and build projects. In 2000, we started even doing projects along with medical equipment supply, testing and commissioning. So that was one of the dream game which we wanted to start in this business, and we were very, very successful in that. We started doing many projects on design and build basis along with medical equipments. Then we established ourselves as a complete solution provider. It's like from concept to commissioning. The client usually gives us a picture of the site, what they have, and the requirements. It can be a 100-bed hospital or a 1,000-bed hospital. That the requirement they give. We frame the requirements. We give it to the client, get their approvals, and then we started designing and implementing it. That's how the design changed, the scenario changed. And as of now, from 2015, we saw a great push from the central government and the state government itself to implement the projects on design and build basis. That was a great success story, what we can say from our point of view. So in 21, we are seeing many state governments, they started coming with this EPC model. So EPC model as such from CPWD as well as Niti Aayog, they are saying it is divided into three parts, basically mode 1, 2 and 3. So these are the ways in which they are letting out some of the projects more than 100 crores. Any projects more than 100 crores from the central government or state government, it's usually pushed through this EPC model. It's called engineering, procurement and construction model. So advantage is that the contractor is the one-point solution provider, so he takes the entire responsibility. So the timeline for the particular job is being handed over to the contractor. So he pushes it hard, uses latest technologies, whatever is available in the field to ensure that he finishes the business within the particular time, and so the government or the private entity gets the benefit. So the return on investment becomes easier or becomes quick when they do adopt this method. Some of the conventional trends, what we all know happening in the industry are these things. The normal formwork, the normal brickwork construction, normal plastering. It involves huge amount of labor. We all know when the COVID came and how these labor started migrating from the particular sites to their own country or the state. So it's a labor intensive industry, I can say, the construction industry. We cannot just like that ignore the workmen who are contributing to the particular development. So this is how it has been. Even the engineering, you can see it is all being done in CAD previously. At least 10 years before or 5 years before, it is all in CAD. But then, this is the emerging trends. We can say even the hospitals are coming with steel now, composite structural. We were really excited when the government themselves came and told us to do engineering with steel composite structures. So this actually what it does is reduces the amount of construction time. So it speeds up the process because everything the RCC construction, we can say everything has to be done inside. So the RCC pouring has to be done, formwork has to be done. Here in steel, we can do it parallelly outside in a different offsite construction area, yard. We can fabricate all the steel columns, the slabs, bring it to site, assemble and just pour the concrete on top. So it reduces the timeline in a big way. Similarly, modular facades are evolving. We can just frame the modular facades and then do it offsite, bring it and just start assembling it. So this is the new way which is coming into the picture. Dry walls. Previously, we've not known about the dry walls. We used to do this gypsum walls in the offices, we might have seen. But then now there are a lot of innovations which have come into the dry wall systems where even fire rating is taken care. So everybody is pushing for this because it starts reducing your timeline. So does the construction field wants to. So this is one of the picking up or emerging trend, I can say. Gypsum plastering, we all know this wet construction is now getting outdated. People wants to use less water. So this gypsum plaster is a ready-made solution for wet plastering. So it comes in ready-made bags. We have to just mix it and start applying. It reduces the timeline, which comes with properties related to fire even. Modular MEP. I'll just start explaining this in the detailed slides. From the engineering, I'll start. So now we are using building information modeling system. We call it as BIM platform. Instead of the CAD, regular CAD, which is done in 2D, people are now using this platform to see the building virtually in 3D. So it creates a kind of an impression where the engineers themselves can go into the building in all the nook and corners, see how they've designed, see how the interfaces are being done with various services. Hospital itself, if you see, is the most complex building because it has, when you open up the ceiling, the entire ceiling is crowded with HVAC, the AC ducts or your electric lines going hither and there because a lot of medical equipments are there in the hospital. A lot of patients who are there need the medical services through gas pipelines. So these are very intensive buildings where this BIM modeling, that is building information modeling, helps in a large way. So people are moving from 3D, where you are seeing the three-dimensional aspect of a building, to 4D, which involves your timeline. So basically, when we give the model to the site, we start now giving away with timelines. Basically, when we start doing at site, the site team also has a laptop or a pad with them. So then every day they start progress, they monitor the progress. So they keep updating the engineer himself or create a request for information. If there is any issues or challenge, they start putting up directly and then it comes over internet to the particular designer and he starts resolving it online. So this is quite an interactive platform where we are doing this. And 5D is the next stage where we are trying to plug in the cost. So this is the emerging platform, we can say. It's very useful in the industry. There's a new trend which is coming up, particularly in Assam, where we started building the cancer care hospitals. It is called National Disaster Management Authority, a particular authority which gives guidelines for designing buildings in seismic zones. Basically, Assam is highly seismic zone. In such seismic zones, when an emergency strikes, the most sought out building is a hospital. So the hospital has to function absolutely with no interference. So the entire system has to function. So we started designing the building with respect to these codes, wherein they either subscribe the RC part, which has to be more to take care of the shear strength or during the seismic interference, or there is a solution which comes into the base isolator. So this actually isolates the entire superstructure from the base. So when we have an earthquake, the superstructure remains intact. So that is the purpose of this particular technology. So we started implementing this and we are doing a lot of projects with this new technology. It's quite interesting. Being an architect, I myself feel very interesting to see this kind of technologies coming into the picture. Then these composite structural steel, as I told you, it reduces the project timeline to really 20%. So there gains the importance of this structural steel. Of course, the cost of it is slightly more, so definitely from the RCC option. Drywall systems, which we have implemented in the Tata Cancer Centers, which we are doing in Assam. Many of the interiors have been done using drywalls, so it looks fabulous. It doesn't differentiate itself from a normal brick wall or brick masonry. Gypsum plaster, as I told you, they are coming even with fire retardant properties, so it can be used extensively in all the buildings. Prefabricated toilet pots, this is one new technology which is coming up. So the entire toilet pots, if it is coming in a multiple of, or you can say in a hospital, if there's a private ward, which is like 20 or 40 numbers, these toilets can be made outside in a factory, assembled with the entire sanitary fixture and the pipelines, just brought in containers and then assembled in the particular area. So this reduces the wet activities in the site and gives a lot of edge over the timelines. The pre-modular facades, this also is gaining importance. In many of the airports now we are doing with modular facades. Hospitals, even glazing part, we are trying out with unitized glazing so that everything is done in factory and then assembled at site, reduces basically the timelines. Precast staircase, in many of the sites we might see this staircases activity is being taken up as last one. Basically we wanted to eradicate this because many of the laborers or the workmen who want to move up the superstructure are using the temporary staircase. We wanted to avoid it and started doing these precast staircases. These can be done outside the site, brought in containers and assembled initially itself. The core is completed. So everyone can move through it very safely. So this is one of the thing which is giving us an edge in the construction industry. MEP, modular MEP is one thing which is actually picking ground. We have started implementing, we have not been very successful because many of the clients are picking up this model. So we need to propagate more and then do this activity. This we have developed certainly now. What we do is, instead of the slab is finished and then we start laying these ducts or your pipes or your fire pipes, everything, we start doing the entire thing on ground. It is not done at high, it is done at eye level. So everything is done in modular areas, and then it is taken to the particular site, just taken up and hanged and bolted. So this resolves, and only thing we need to do is every 6 meter or 10 meter module, we need to just connect it using the nuts and bolts. So this finishes off the business in a very quick tenure. So this is the cradle system which we call as a MEP, so which we do at ground level and then take it up at the higher levels. Another concept which is gaining grounds is the net zero energy buildings. This is picking up across the industry now because everyone wants carbon neutral buildings, carbon neutral states or countries in them. So this net zero energy concept is also picking up. India stands somewhere 3 in terms of the carbon emissions, CO2 emissions, but then in terms of per capita carbon emissions, we can say we are nowhere, because a lot of countries, we have large population, but with respect to the population, if we see, we are nowhere, but still, government is very anxious to implement this net zero energy building. So in hospitals also we are trying nowadays. We have 2 certifications which has come into existence. One is called Net Zero Energy Building, Indian Green Building Council, which has certain rules for implementing net zero energy buildings. They give certificates for it, and then you get benefit as a private customer or a government. You get benefit of the carbon deposition. And in terms of US Green Building Council also, there are certain norms which are being implemented, and then these are also giving us edge. Leaving aside the emerging technologies, what are the future emerging technologies? I can say futuristic. So these are some of the things. Your glass is going to be completely replaced with transparent aluminum. So this is being experimented in the foreign nations nowadays. We are trying to get in touch with them. These are very hard material, similar to glass, have the same properties, but then they don't break. And light in weight. So these are going to replace your glass in many ways. Then you see reactive temperature tiles. These are tiles which have no color. They come in black or in some other color. But when you start using them, or maybe in this case, what we saw is when we started using the hot water from the shower, the color changes. It gives a color of peacock or something like that. So it's a different thing. It depends on the architect who is going to use it. So these are again new technologies. Smart roads as such, these are smart grids which are developed in the roads itself. So every time the vehicle passes, the energy is transformed from the road to the grids, and then it's taken off. So these are new technologies which are going to come up. Self-healing concrete is another one. We see many of the concretes when we pour, there are cracks which are appearing. It's called temperature cracks. These self-healing concrete compounds which are used can just heal themselves. Basically, it's like self-healing concrete. So they heal themselves and close up the gaps. And robots and drones are being extensively started using. So robots are now used in demolition. Robots are used in even construction. We have started using robots for laying bricks as well as laying the floors or plastering. But then there are robots which are also coming up to lay even your false ceiling tiles. So everything is going to be robotic nowadays. So the ultimate aim is to reduce your human labors and then start using these new technologies actually to bring down the timelines and also preserve the resources. In healthcare, we are seeing these trends which are coming up. Basically, when all the hospitals or many of the areas, many of the states we have seen, there are old hospitals which are actually in the dilapidating stage. So there's coming a concept called redevelopment. So instead of doing a greenfield job where you take a fresh site and then start doing things, this is called redevelopment, where we get inside, break the buildings, ensure that the hospital is functioning. It is like operating on a live patient, giving a local anesthesia. We've started this concept, actually the Bihar government started this concept. Now we are doing a largest hospital in India, basically. It's a 5,500 bed hospital, which is taken up by us last year, so it is going on. So this is a concept which I wanted to explain it to you. Thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for Mr. Bhutalingam here on stage? Now, as a token of appreciation, we would like to felicitate our distinguished guest. May I request Shri Ashok Puranik, sir, to kindly do the honors.